Hello guys, in this video I'm going to show you the essentials to work with Photoshop. Let's start. Okay guys, Photoshop is a great tool. If you want to create a flyer, a postcard, a banner, an ad, you can use Photoshop, Illustrator, or InDesign, whatever you feel more comfortable. But the potentially Photoshop is more for pictures, if you want to retouch, if you want to do color correction, or if you want to create a photo montage. Illustrator is a tool more for infographic, data visualization, logos, or illustration. And InDesign, the potential of InDesign is for multiple pages, magazine, and text. In that case, if you want to learn Photoshop for color correction and retouching, this is the video that you have to start. Alright, first I'm gonna open this picture in Photoshop, okay? And the first time that you open Photoshop, you will see this interface. Here on the left part, you will see different tools. There are tools to do different things, okay? If you select one particular tool, on the top bar, you will see the controls for that tool. For example, in this case, I have selected here the rectangular marquee tool, and here I have the feather for that tool, the style, and other options. If I select, for example, the brush tool, what you will see here in this area, here I can change the size of the brush, the way that I can paint, the opacity, etc. And here, for example, if I select the text tool, right, as soon as you select the text tool, here on the top part, you will see the typeface, the font family, the style, and other controls. All right, I'm going to show you how to work with a few tools. For example, if I use the brush tool, okay, select the brush tool here. By the way, on every tool, you can right click and you will see the name of the tool. And in addition, you have a letter. For example, in this moment, if you press the key B as above in your keyboard, automatically you will select the brush tool. Okay, as soon as you select the brush tool, then here on the top bar, you can click on this little widget and you can open all the adjustment for this brush. Here you can increase the size. If you move this slider and then if you move the mouse inside, okay, you can see that circle is covering 59 pixels. Okay, I'm gonna increase this one a little more. By the way, if you don't see that circle, double check you don't have the cap locks in your computer, because if I press the cap locks, you will see a cross instead that circle. All right, you have to double check that. All right, I'm gonna click here this to close, okay, here, and then I'm gonna start painting. If you click and drag, okay, you can see you can start painting. I'm gonna paint this part. All right, but here I'm gonna destroy this picture, which is not my idea, and I would like to go back, okay? But look at this. Pretty much on every single software, if you want to undo, if you want to go back, you will press Control or Command Z on the Mac. Okay, but in Photoshop you have just one Command Z. If I go here on the edit menu, you have the undo brush. Okay, if I go again, you got to redo brush. Okay, what that means, you can undo and redo. But what if you want to go back? Okay, there is another option here. You have the step backward. Okay, which is the control. Here is the Command Alt Z or the Command Option Z or Control on the PC. Okay, but instead to use this, what I like to do, I would like to use one of the panel, which is the history panel. All right, guys, here on the right part of Photoshop, you have different panels. If you take a look, you can see here, for example, the color panel. If I click here, I can see the swatches panel. Here on the lowest part, property, adjustment, layer, even the library panels is here, okay? And here on the left, I have a few icons, okay? Look at this. If I put my mouse here in this border, I'm gonna click and drag to the left. And the name of this panel is the history. Please click on it, okay? And you will see brush tool, brush tool. Here you can see the steps that you do in Photoshop. I'm gonna put my mouse on the lowest part of the panel, then you can click and drag down. And here you can see all the steps that you did in Photoshop on this session, okay? If you click here, you can go one step back or two step back, or you can go all the way to back. By the way, do not click on this square. This is for another function in Photoshop for the history brush. You have to click on the name itself if you want to go back and forth on the history. Okay, please go back to the open. You can see there is a panel that is very useful to use, but you have to be clear on this. Photoshop gonna save the last 50 steps, okay, and it's very easy to do 50 steps in Photoshop if you are retouching. What I would like to do, I would like to increase the amount of those steps. Okay, what you have to do is follow me on this. First, let's go to the Photoshop menu and you will see the preferences. By the way, if you are working on PC, the preferences is here on the edit menu. You will see the preferences all the way down. But since I'm working on Mac, the preferences are here on the Photoshop menu. All right, and here on the preferences, I'm gonna go to the performance. Okay, if you click there, here on the right, you will see the history state. Okay, and one of the things that you can do here, you can highlight this number and you can type the history state that you want, or you can move this slider here. Okay, I recommend you to put around 100 steps. Okay, and that is enough, because you have to keep in mind that if you increase too many steps, okay, Photoshop gonna use resources of your computer, for example, the hard drive, okay, because Photoshop need to save on your hard disk, okay, all those steps, okay. In that case, if you select 200 steps, it's going to be maybe too much, okay. Just double check that. In this case, I'm gonna keep in 100 and click OK. And Photoshop gonna save all those steps. But one of the things that you have to be careful is this. Here, for example, if I want to do a few adjustments, you don't have to follow me on this part. I'm gonna show you just the concept. Here, if I go to the image adjustment, if I select, for example, here, exposure, okay, let me increase, for example, the exposure like that. Then I'm gonna go to the image adjustment. I'm gonna use hue and saturation, and I would like to desaturate the picture like that. Okay, here I did a few steps, and you can see the steps on my history panel. But the thing is, be careful with this, because if you close this picture, if you save the changes, then next time that you open this picture, you don't see the steps on the history panel, because the history panel works per session, okay? You will lose the step, and it's point of return. You can't go back, okay? Just keep in mind that. All right, I'm gonna go back to the open. All right. Okay, this is the interface, and here I have different tools that we can work with. On the following videos, I'm gonna show you all the other tools, okay? All right, by the way, here I have all the panels, and there is one panel that you will use a lot, which is here, the layers panel, okay? Because you remember in the beginning, I start using the brush, okay? If I paint like this, here on the layers panel, before you start working in Photoshop, one of the things that I recommend you, let me go back on the history, is create a new layer. How you can do that? If I go all the way down here, the icon next to the small garbage can is to create a new layer. Click there and you will create a blank empty layer. And what happens here, if you start painting, for example, like this, okay, what's gonna happen, you will save that change on that layer. All right, for example, look at this. I'm gonna select my move tool, which is the first one, and then I can click and drag. Okay, here I can move this element. You can see this element is part of this layer, all right? And then if you want to delete this, you can just throw it away to the garbage can and then click yes. All right, that is very convenient, because if you want to put a logo, if you want to put text, or if you want to do adjustment, we can work with layers. Okay, the only thing that you have to keep in mind is this: if you want to save a document with layers, you cannot save that document as a PNG or JPEG. Those are very popular formats. You have to save this as a PSD, stand for Photoshop document. You can see that is the idea. Okay, all right, let's continue. Now I'm gonna show you how you can work with the panels. Here on the right, for example, here I have the color panel. All right, if you select again the brush tool, one of the things that I can do, I can select one of the colors that I want, and then I can click on this color, and then I can start painting if I want. Okay, then if I want to go with another panel, for example, here I can go to the swatches panel, I can select another color, and then I can start painting like this. Okay, that is the basic. And here I had the adjustment panel, but look at what happened with the adjustment panel is something very different. Here we have different adjustment. Okay, for example, you have contrast, levels, you have curves and levels and so on. I'm gonna select, for example, the brightness and contrast. As soon as you click there, okay, what's gonna happen? Photoshop automatically gonna open the properties panel, and here you can move the brightness, for example, like this. You can affect the picture, okay? But look at what happened here, something very particular. Photoshop gonna create a new layer with that adjustment, okay? And one of the things that you can do, if you want, you can throw it away, this layer, okay? Or you can hide this layer, you see, and then you will affect this. And then if you say this as a PSD, as a Photoshop document, this is a non-destructive way to work, okay, in Photoshop. What happened? You're gonna add a new layer, for example, for brightness and contrast, then add a new layer, for example, for hue and saturation, okay, another layer for curves, and etc. Okay, and if you add all those layers, then you can go back and you can modify those layers, you can hide, you can throw it away. That is a very, very convenient way to work with, okay? All right, I'm gonna throw it away, this layer, okay? And if I want to go back, can you see I paint on the same layer? What I have to do, I have to go to the history panel, and then I have to go back to the open. You see, that is the idea, okay, what you can do with Photoshop, okay? All right, guys, I hope you like this video. See you on the next one.